loud and clear. So I hope that you can hear me loud and clear, guys. Just put in the chat that you can hear me so that I know everything's working as it should. Okay, great. So let me get into it. So my name is Teige Azuk, and I'm gonna share, that was a very good introduction. So I'm going to share, if you allow me to do some screen sharing, Michelle, then I can share my presentation with everybody.
Yes, you do have screen sharing.
So just let me know when I'm screen sharing. Awesome, great. Okay. So we're getting into it. I put together a quick little cover page that just tells you a little bit about me. And I was particular to not choose any of my recent pictures because I think having a presentation of who I am now doesn't reflect enough of how I started. And how I started was a pretty tough journey, having to figure it out on my own. I didn't study design business at school, but from South I went into a design company and I had to learn from the ground up. So when I took the leap to start my business, I had to do a lot of things by myself. So I was my own accountant. I was my own producer. You can see me there with the drill in my hand. I was my own producer. I was doing presentations. I was doing flowers, climbing lifts, putting up decorations, figuring out tall, massive structures, making independence presentations. It was a lot. I did a lot. And I thought it was very interesting to sort of like take you on some of my highlights of me being an intern designer and me now being a design entrepreneur. So let us get into my second slide. That was a little quick there. Okay, so from being an intern designer into being a designer is that I had to value my process. What I want to accomplish here tonight is I really share with you lessons in entrepreneurship and how it relates to my personal life development, goals, and vision. So as I go along showing you about the design process, I really want you to introspect and think about it from your personal life and your career goals. So don't just listen to what I'm saying, but grab your and really get involved into the process of the comparison of the design process and setting up your vision and your goals for your career, the business, your entrepreneurial journey, whatever it is that you want to do, really have the reflection between the two. So one of my key things here is I want to inspire you to strategically approach your career for more than profit, but for purpose. So everybody's cool with that. I love engagement, guys. So feel welcome to, come in the chat room. It's good. Let's go ahead. Okay. So the first thing is think about, just for a second, think about what your dream is. And that dream in this reference now is your career. So whatever your dream is for your career right now, I want you to write that down. What is your career goal? Who do you imagine that you would be? Who do you imagine, what business you imagine yourself running? Now, honestly, guys, dream big. This making a dream, it means dreaming big. So right now, open your mind up and ask yourself, what is my career goal? What do I imagine as my big career goal? And write that down. And it can be as, you can say, oh, I just want to own an ice cream truck. Or you want to own a multi-million-dollar fashion industry business. Go ahead and write your goals down. And as soon as you have that in the chat right there, so I know you're ready to move forward. Okay. So waiting on.
Oh my, it looks like we have lost Teige there. All right, so while we wait for her to come back, I will of course be asking you to do a couple of things, all right? So of course, as you know, take notes. take notes of what you are seeing and also what you are hearing, because the information that is being shared with you is important. All right, very, very important.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, take notes. And if she says to engage in the chat, I'm expecting to see something happening in the chat, but I'm gonna start putting some people on the spot. And you know, I like to do that. So let's keep things going, ladies. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just waiting for her. Teige is still there? Awesome.
Okay. Yes, I am. I'm right here. I am here. I don't know if you could hear me.
Yes, I can hear you now. Just waiting for your screen to start showing.
Let me try to, just give me 1 second, Michelle. Let me just try to onto another network.
If your bandwidth is low, what you can try doing is turning off your camera momentarily to share your screen, so that at least you can do that. Because keeping your camera on actually takes up a lot of bandwidth. You can try that one and see if it works.
Right. Yep.
All right.
Good to go. Okay, so we're getting some, I'm seeing some comments. Okay, so I'm seeing some comments in the chat saying you want to be a creative designer for business cards and more. And I really love that. I love that you want to be a graphic and creative designer. So we are good to go. Awesome sauce. So just to review that little piece here, I just want you to write down what your dream and what your goal is. However big, just write down your big goal. And as we go through our presentation, I really want you to apply the process, the design process, to help you prepare. So I'm going to move on to the next slide now. All right. So one of the first steps in our design process is the consultation. During the consultation, you have to ask yourself, during the consultation, what I do is I really try to identify what my key goals are with my client. What do they value? What do they want to achieve? The entire goal objective is for the event or for the space or for the design concept. So that's my first step in the consultation, is really with the client on what it is that they want to achieve. Now that's from a design point of view. But if you think of a career and a goals point of view, very similar to identifying your own skills, abilities, and qualities. So similar to how I would a dialogue with a client to understand what do they want, how many guests, what the space will be. So just the same for you, you need a dialogue that talks about what are my skills, what are my key qualities. Yeah. And I wanted you to ask yourself now, when you look at your goal, I wanted you to ask yourself, how do I describe myself? How do people experience me? Even get down into saying, what are my best skills? What are my worst traits? And you having that introspection into yourself, your skills, your abilities, and your qualities is very similar to us walking into a design room and understanding what the client wants, what their objectives are. So that's my first thing. In the design process is you wrote down for your consultation, you wrote down your little questions in there. Now, the next stage in the design process is the site visit. Now, when we do a site visit, we walk into a room or venue or location, and we really try to put together what we learned from the consultation, who you are, what you do, and we try to apply that and visualize that into the space. So if during the consultation you told us that you love blue and you want balloons hanging from the ceiling and flowers lining the floor, then when we reach the site visit, we apply that and start to really see and visualize that into the space. So just the same for you internally now. You have to ask yourself, can I visualize my life, my career, and my goals? So remember that step 1 goal that you wrote down? And you ask the questions to yourself personally. Now, step 3 is now visualizing that goal. So you now have to ask yourself, what are the best elements that I am working with? Is it that I'm smart? Is it that I'm skilled? Am I a good hairdresser? Am I a good graphic artist? What are the skills and the best elements about me? What are the worst situations that I am approached with? Meaning, do you have difficulties at home? Do you have difficulties financially? Do you have problems understanding things? Do you not work well under pressure? So you really yourself these questions. I envision. That's really where the visualization comes into looking at it and really starting to paint. I walk into a room to do a site visit, I paint a picture of how all these elements in the consultation can possibly fit into the space, just and your life. So you sit down and you look at your life almost like a blank space and you say, how do I envision my career and my goals? We ask ourselves a question. We did our consultation and now we're at all right, let's move on to our next stage in our design process. We actually start to create.
Tej, we seem to be losing you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, the internet is not behaving itself tonight. But by God's grace, he will allow this to continue by God's grace. So ladies, again, I am hoping that you are getting the information or picking out the information from what she's telling you. It's from a designer perspective, but you can still apply it to your business. Okay, the same way with Vanetta, and she applies modeling to marketing, you can do the same thing with designing. Okay, Tej, do we have you back? Okay, Tej, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, I can.
Okay, awesome.
So you just let me know if I should continue now, or where did you hear me last from?
Yeah, you can continue from where you were.
Okay, so we're on to concept now. So I hope everybody has their consultation down, their site visit down. Yeah, so let me just go back so that we can make sure that we are all on the same page, because I really want you to embrace some value from this. So for the consultation, what you had to do is identify your skills, abilities, and your qualities. In the site visit, you had to visualize your life. And now we're on to the concept design. So after I've done the site visit and the consultation with the client, then I'm moving on to creating the concept. That's when I do sketches, drawings, and mood boards. So really, mood boards are like a collection of photos arranged together strategically to reflect the design that we want to produce. And when we do that, we really try to communicate what our plan is to our clients. So at this stage of the concept design, from a designer's point of view, it's really where you get to put down what it is that you really solid want to do. Like, where would people sit? Where would people stand? What would it look like? Is there a podium? These are the actual key things that impact the people that are using the space. So just the same, I want you to take that concept design approach and apply it to your life and your career. So you need to ask yourself, how will my work create impact and influence? How will my career or my goal or my dream create impact and influence? The same way I'm saying, how will this space that I will design create impact and influence? How will people use it? How will people love it? You need to ask the same for your career or your goal.
Teige, are you still with us? Your screen appears to be frozen. Can you hear me? Teige, are you still there? Can you hear me? Oh my. Boy, this internet is something else, you know. Is something else. Teige,
Maybe you can share for her that Michelle, and she can speak without the video. This will help her.
no, well, she actually was continuing without sharing, and it still dropped. So it's her connection that's the issue. She has a poor connection, and unfortunately, it's causing it to drop. I'm hoping that Teige, are you still there? I'm hoping that she can get back with us very soon. Okay, so while we're waiting for her to get back with us, I of course want to thank those persons who are here this evening. We have some special guests joining us this evening for this presentation, and they are some members of the OR family, and should I say the Dream to Reality family as well. Thank you so much for being here. I am hoping that the information that is being shared will be of value to you. And of course, this is also an opportunity for you to connect with the ladies that are currently in the program. Also, I wanted to make mention of just another thing to you ladies. Whenever we have guest speakers and their intention is to engage with us, we really want to make the best of the situation. Ask your questions, but be sure to raise your hand, of course, and I will, of course, call upon you so that you can speak, and use this opportunity as much as possible to get information, okay? Because this is your time to actually take in and to gather value for yourself. Things that you would have necessarily had to pay for, this is something that you're getting as part of the program. So please, I'm hoping that you're taking notes of the things that you are hearing. These are actual entrepreneurs doing business that are sharing their real life stories with you on how to get things done. It's just a matter of applying it to your business. That is the main and key thing that you have to focus on. So think of the name of your business. Whenever she tells you to think of your business, or think of a goal, or think of something, or a vision, or what you want your dream to be, think of your business, the business name that you wrote down with this application, and think of this business step by step. Foresee the future. Where do you see this business going? Where do you see you taking this business? And where do you see this business taking you? The same way you are investing your time, your effort, your blood, your sweat, your tears into your business, when your business becomes profitable, your business will then take care of you. So it's hand in hand. It is a 50-50. You put it out there and your business takes care of you. That's with the profits. So you have to be the ones to do the work so that your business can take care of you, okay? But you always have to be willing to work and to learn. You can't progress if you don't learn something new every single day. Teige, are you back with us?
Yes, I am back with you, and we should be a lot better now.
Are you sure? If you want, you can send your presentation to me and I can share on your behalf.
Sure, I can do that while I speak. That's no problem.
Okay, sure. Not a problem. You're good to go.
Yep. Okay, guys. So then we're getting down into the pitch now. So in our pitch element of a design process is when we actually try to communicate our design vision to the client. What we're trying to do now is really get our clients to believe in what it is that we're saying, what it is that we visualize, and getting them to purchase that as much as we can. So in your pitch, you really have to show up ready to go. You have to show up in complete belief of what it is that you want or you visualize for yourself. You have to be confident, you have to be sure of yourself, and you really have to show up in your power. So just the same as for a design process is the same thing for you. And when you try to set up your vision for your career, which is that you need to now ask yourself, what does it look like when I am confident and focused? And key down, well, how do you dress? How do you speak? How do you act when you are confident and focused? Map that out. What makes me feel confident? How do you behave? You know, how do others react to you? Do they tell you that you fool yourself? Do they tell you that you feel you too much? Or do they respect you for the way that you show up, the way that you speak, the tone, the language that you use? And how do I manage my doubts and insecurities? For example, I'm very disappointed that the internet is dropping up on us right now, but I can't show up and be like, you know what, forget about it, and I'm not going to do this, and you know what, that makes me so sad and I'm frustrated. I can't do that. I still have to show up prepared to continue this presentation and ride through it. So you have to ask yourself, when it is that you are doing a pitch, whether things go right or wrong, when it is that you are determining how it is that you're going to start to, approach the bank, approach your investors, approach your supportive team. How are you confident about the business? And how are you going to approach your customers? How are you presenting yourself? So that's the pitch level. So you have to ask yourself these questions. What does it look like when I am confident and focused? So let's move on to the next one. Michelle, I emailed to you already, just in case. Let's move on to the next one, which is the adjustment. So not because we pitch something to a client means that it's going to get accepted. Sometimes we get, oh, I don't like this. Or, you know what, this wasn't exactly what I had in mind. Or we get, oh, I love it, oh my God, but there was a few things here. I want to add more. I want to take out some, or this is over my budget. There's so many different scenarios that require us to adjust our design. And what I want you to understand is when I come with something that I've been working on for a week, something that I love and I believe in my design and I'm confident about it, I'm coming out there and I'm like, yeah. And then you come and you say, I don't really like that arch. I wasn't really feeling that. I'm like, oh my goodness. I almost have to go back to the drawing board. So now I had to ask myself along my process, Teige, how do you adjust? How do you face your challenges? How do you face your rejection? How do you face things that you might have to change and amend in your design process? Something that you love so much and somebody's telling you, I don't like it. How do you face that? And it's the same thing with business and your career goals. Not because you have this stellar idea that I'm going to design amazing, transparent, and 3D business cards. And that's what I'm going to do. And you go to investors and you say, yeah, and you have a business plan and you have an idea and a concept and you have samples and everything. And you think it's honky-dory, let's keep going. And then an investor looks at you and say, I don't think the market's ready for this. Or I don't think this is viable. I think this is useless. This doesn't add any solutions to the industry. What do? How do you adjust moving forward? How do you face your challenges and your rejection? All right. So we good here? I hope so. Sammy, if you can give me a thumbs up if you understand, then that'll be good. I just called you because you show up on my screen first. So you're smiling, so I hope it's good. Okay. After our adjustment is, so we go back, thank you, Tammy. So we go back to our drawing board, we make the necessary adjustments, whether that be the design concept or the budget or whatever the case is, and then we get down to the approval. So that's when we've done all the back and forth with the client, and now we get into whether or not the client's gonna approve our final design. So when you get the approval, guess what? You're smiling, you're jumping for joy. You're like, whoop, whoop, all right, I'm a stellar designer. I got this. And you feel that big whiff of like, yeah, I'm confident. I got this. I'm getting approval from my client. That's what you're out here to do. You're out here to make other people happy. You're a facilitation of other people being happy. So when you get that, you're like, yeah, here's the key thing for your life and your career goals. You have to identify and make it a priority to celebrate even your small wins. So when I get the job, I'm like, I got the job. Put that down. I did well. I did well. And we don't like to do that, especially as women. We don't like to do that because we know on to the next one, keep working. We have to keep going. No, you have to celebrate all your wins, even the small ones. You did well on this presentation. You did well on your proposal. You did well. You got the client to agree, even if it was at a lower budget or if adjustments, and you have to celebrate that. So just the same, let me relate that to you starting your career and your life goals. You have to tell yourself, after I've visualized, after I've, made sure that I have all my plans and things in place, and I do my pitch, and I got my disappointment, and I go back and I made my adjustments, and I now get my approval. I get my loan, I got the spot, I found the store, I scored a client, I put up my Facebook page, I established my social media. GoDaddy had the link ready to go. You understand? I approve, my things are approved now. You now have to ask yourself, how do I acknowledge and appreciate my growth? And this is not just integral to your business, but that's integral to you as a woman entrepreneur, that you have to establish, how do I acknowledge and appreciate my growth? How do I celebrate my success? And what are my next steps after I've received good news? And we always tend to leave that behind. After you've got that good news and you say, yay, all right, good to go. What do you do next? Do you just sit down in your joy and that's it? You forget you have a business to run? Now, do you rush and then on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one? Don't give your celebration enough joy. You now have to find that balance between celebrating and productivity. And that's what really makes you a powerhouse as a woman entrepreneur, that you're not sitting down and lagging. You understand enough. Yo, I brought game to the table. Now there's more game to do. Yeah. So that's where we are for approval. Our next stage in the design process, after we've gotten approved on our job, is our preparations. So now that we're preparing for our job, behind the scenes for a design point of view in preparing the job, is that I'm now contacting florists, I'm contacting rental supply people, I'm booking transportation and trucks, I'm crafting what needs to be crafted, I'm sorting things out, spraying, building. There's a big production behind the scenes that prepares, including a lot of the administrative work. So refining a production schedule for my team, breaking down, what we're doing on which day, writing a list of things that need to be packed and sorted, putting down an entire timeline for the day. So there's a lot of preparation that goes in before we even reach on the job site itself. And just the same, when I'm preparing, and remember I just said for my team, when I'm preparing, part of my preparation is making sure that I have the right people around me that are going to add value to my end project. So I have my right-hand guy, which I call Junior. So he's my main guy. And Junior's my guy that when we prepare, we sit down, we go through the design concept, we understand what's required of us. We separate our jobs, we establish our leadership style and our supportive role. And then we start to we prepared to go on the job and accomplish our task. I know Junior is a good guy and I know what his skill sets are. Remember, our first thing was identifying and asking yourself, who are you? What are your skills? What are your abilities? What are your qualities? It's the same thing. I know who Junior is and what it is, but I can't do a production just to Junior. I have to know everybody else. Who's the wedding planner? Who's the client? Who's the trucking driver? I need to know everybody who's involved. And that's what you have to know as a business too. You have to know who your tribe is. Who are you involving in your business and who are you not? Sometimes the not is your family. I'll tell you straightforward. Sometimes the not is your best friend. Sometimes the not is, the boyfriend. Sometimes the not is the next door neighbor. Sometimes you gotta keep things close and professional, but sometimes they are your tribe. And you have to know how to identify who is and who is not your tribe. Who is and who is not your tribe, sorry, for you to be able to progress in business. So in that preparation that you're doing for business, you're asking yourself, who is included in my support system? What are the skill sets of my supporters? So for me, I know Junior is good at X. I'm not gonna ask him to do flowers if I know that he is a carpenter. The same way is that you're not going to try to ask your accountant to do your marketing for you. You understand what I'm telling you? Because it's an accountant. So you now have to start to create a framework of who's going to be your tribe. Who's your accountant? Who's going to help you with your social media? Who's going to help you with your administrative stuff? Who's going to help you with your human resources? Who's going to be the cook? Who's going to be braiding? Who's going to be washing? Who's going to do the proofreading for you? Whatever it is that your business or your career is, you have to make sure that you prepare, and in the background, all your tools, supplies, and resources, but even more importantly, select your tribe carefully. All right. I see a smile, so I hope this is a good thing we have going on here. All right, let's move on to the next stage in our design process. So, of course, in the design process, it comes down to actually producing on site. So that's when I'm on the field and I'm climbing the ladder and using the drill and setting the tables and, you know, doing everything that needs to be done. And that's where I put the action into all my plans and preparation. So that's the production. And what I want you to ask yourself when you start to do your business is, how do I action my vision? That vision from number one there, consultation, site visit, all those things there, you have to ask yourself now, how do I action all these ideas and plans and my tribe? How do we say now, what are the steps I need to take to achieve my dream or my goal in my career? Am I willing to work hard and smart to achieve my goals? Not just hard. Am I willing to work hard and smart? And the smart part is directly relatable to your tribe. Because you can sit down there and be accountant, chief cook, butler, washer, braider, come on. Depend on your tribe. And that's the smart part too. And what is the most efficient and organized way to accomplish my task? And I put that in there because in the day of social media and technology, you can use social media calendars to filter in all your content to just automatically post online for you. You can use QuickBooks and other accounting programs online. There's so many different platforms that you can use just to help you be more efficient with what you do for your business, to help you produce more efficiently. So it's so important to be smart and ask yourself these questions when you are producing. Now, when we get the job done, that's not it. Producing the job and setting the tables and putting up the flowers is not the end of it. Just the same as being able to establish your business, the building is there and the signs say open, that's not the end of it, guys. There's more to this process of being a woman entrepreneur, a lot more. So let's get into the next step, is the review. Let's say you've made your first sale, business is open, your customer came in, you made your first sale, you heard that cash box go ching ching, and you're good, and you sit down there and you say, remember we talk about celebrating our wins, and you sit down there and you say, oh boy, I made my first sale. All right, celebrate your small win, back to work. You know what's really important and we have to do a lot of, and people miss that step, is the review. After you've done that first sale, you have to sit down now and ask yourself, yo, what did I just do? What impact did I just create? How did I influence? Remember we had that in the initial stages? What am I doing? What's my impact? What's my influence? You have to ask yourself that question again. What was my impact? What was my influence? So I'm asking you now, and you have to ask yourself that. Do I reflect? Do I sit down and I ask myself, how did I create influence? How did I react to the criticism? How did I do this? You know, what happened well? Where was I standing? Did I slam the cash register too hard? You know, did the customer come in because I was standing outside, or was it inside? Did I do extra social media marketing? Was it because I went on radio? What did I do to make this what it was? What did I do to allow me to produce? Was it John that I can't put John in my business again? That's a boy. Was it that? You know, was it that that accountant there for me? Was it that? Do you now have to shift from you handling your own QuickBooks to now you saying, I need a professional accountant? So you need to sit down now and ask yourself the review and the reflection on everything that you've done, produced, prepared for, visualized, and determined. And then now one of the final stages is to grow. So after you've done that review and ask yourself these questions, that's like action in your review, your growth, your improvement as you progress. I always tell people, improvement is not an A to B thing. Improvement is kind of like a bicycle. You gotta keep pedaling. So it's improved as you progress. Improvement is not tomorrow, yeah, I better. Nah, it's every day you do something better. And that's when you see improvement. And that process that I just put you through here is something that cycles. And if you can apply what it is that I'm doing through design, and you can apply that to your career, you apply that to the way you parent, you apply that to the way you deal with your partner, you apply that to the way you deal with your siblings, you apply that to the way you deal with your church members, you simply apply the cycle of design thinking and design strategy to everything that you do on a daily basis, from the visualizing to the planning and preparing to the selecting the right tribe, making sure to celebrate your wins. Then you try to review what it is that you did. Then you ask yourself, how do I grow from it? And that's where you get to say, what are my opportunities for improvement? What do I need to do to increase my rate of success? How do I make this better? How do I do more? How do I progress? When you start to understand the way that you can grow and develop and change, that's when you can sit down and say to yourself, yeah, I'm a woman in business now. I'm definitely a woman in business. So once you can apply that design process through everything that you do, you're going to see so much value as a woman in business. This here is just all my social media stuff, guys. So if it is that you like the value and the content that you have, this for me is me telling you where to contact me, but it's also telling you that it applies for every single platform. Anytime you go on Facebook, anytime you go on Instagram, anytime you go on TikTok, anytime you go on WhatsApp, whatever it is that you do as relation to your business, apply that. How do I improve my TikTok videos? How do I improve what I post on Facebook? Not just for your business, but for your life, for your presentation of yourself as a woman to society, for your introspection of who you are as a woman and as a human being. You have to run that cycle of growth and improvement in almost everything that you do. And it might seem like a long process now, but the more that you practice it, you realize that it becomes second nature to you, for you to just continue wanting to do your best. Now, in case anybody doesn't know me, these are pictures of my work. This is mainly my wedding book. I also do interior design and styling as well, special events, but I really have a fun place for my weddings. I also do Christmas, but again, I have a very fun place for some of my weddings. And if you want to see more about me, you can always just check me out on social media at Teige Azuk. So I just want to, I know it's weird to do this, but I just want to go back to the top just to make sure that you have all your notes down for what it is that you have to sit down and do your little activity for yourself. Thank you so much for that comment. Thank you. I just want you to, just quickly run through that just so that you can make sure you have all your notes in from this presentation. So our design process, our number one is valuing our process. I wanted to share with you, and I wanted you to learn. I want to inspire you to strategically approach your career for more than profit. More than profit, for purpose. Life is more than profit. Profit is amazing, but you really want to capture your purpose. So step one is writing down what your dream is, what your goal is, what your career, what it is that you want, and now we're applying the design process to that. So in our design process, it's consultation first, guys. Consultation is asking yourself, how do I describe myself? Identifying your skills, abilities, and qualities. Then we move on to the site visit after a consultation, which is where you start to visualize your goals. Then we move on to the concept design, which is you designing a career for impact and influence. Then we move on to your pitch. That's when I'm going and telling the client, hey, I got this big vision. Telling the banker, hey, I got this big vision for your business, but you have to be confident and sure and have it all figured out. So that's when you show up in your power and your purpose. And then you have the adjustments. They tell you that I good. Go back to the table with that, make small adjustments, do that budget again. You have to understand, how do I face my challenges and my rejection? Then we go to your approval. So you've made these changes and now it's time to be approved. You've got it all right. Let's go. How do you celebrate even your small wins? And then you prepare. Win is not the end. You then start to prepare to execute. So you're selecting your tribe. And tribe is like your resources, your people, you collecting yourself, you gathering you. Then you get onto producing, which is actioning your vision. So you want to establish the shop, buy the land, put the open on the door. You want to put the Facebook page out there. You want to action your vision. And then you want to do your review, which is after you've made your first sale, your first win, you ask yourself, how do I do better? What did I do? How did I create impact? How did I create that influence? And then you do that growth process, which is your plan for you to improve and grow. And they call that your vision plan for your business, your progression plan in every area. How do I improve my marketing? How do I improve my sales? How do I improve my brand knowledge? How do I improve myself as a woman? And that, if you can do that, then you've really scored yourself into being an absolutely phenomenal woman entrepreneur. Now, it's not easy. Every day is a learning process for me. But here's what, if I can tell you my process while I'm doing it, that's similar to the bicycle. We improve as we progress. Okay, any questions at all? You can ask me anything, not anything, but anything. And I'm happy to respond to that.
Oh my gosh, thank you so very much, Tej, for that presentation. I want to thank you for, how would I say, clarifying, not ask me anything, because I think you got stuck in that the last time you asked that question. You got kind of stuck. So you had to sort of, clarify about the presentation, okay?
Yes.
About the presentation. So again, by a raise of hands, use the raise hand feature. And I will, of course, call upon you. You can then unmute yourself and then either make your comment or ask your question. I do see some people typing in the chat, but guess what? This is an engagement session. So you will be asked to unmute, and I will not be looking at the chat. I'm sorry. This is an engagement session. You must unmute yourself, and then you can say what you want to type. All right, so let's start with Yakima. Yakima, you are first, and then we'll go to Anita.
Good evening, Miss Azuk. Thank you so much for that empowering and inspiring presentation. It was very creative. You truly are a creative director at heart. I realized I was looking at the pictures of your social media handles, and I was just realizing that on some of them you describe yourself differently. For some, you have creative director, creative designer. Is that because of the kind of market that is there, or the hopefully I'm asking the question correctly.
Don't try to answer the question you're trying to ask me. You're like, oh, is it right? Don't try to answer the question. You asking me, let me answer it.
Is it because okay, you know that you have a market there and you're marketing there, but
you're answering the question.
Okay, fine.
Why? Just say, so why?
Why? And why?
Right. So it's for two reasons. In some of the social media profiles, you actually have to select from a drop-down list, and creative director is not on the list for some of them. Designer is. So then I select designer and I get away with that. That's one reason. The second reason is that I recently transitioned from understanding that I'm a designer into understanding that I'm a creative director. And that was as a result of COVID. COVID put me into a moment of a lot of introspection. And I realized, Tej, you are not just a designer. You are a creative person at heart. And similar to how I applied creativity to this presentation that I put there, that's beyond the designer's work. And I wanted to do more and elevate to the next level of my life. So I started to change my titles to creative director. I may not have hit all my platforms, but I'm really trying to adjust design thinker, creative strategist, creative director on as many things as I can do. And you'll also notice that my name is actually Teige Laborde, but I go by Teige Azuk, and that is because my business registration is Azuk Events, but from my weddings, which is what I use my Instagram portfolio for, that's a niche market, I use Teige Azuk. because I wanted to keep that Azuk. I mean, people know me as Teige. So I use Teige Azuk for that. On my other platforms, I strategically use them for different target markets. So I have one for Christmas, which I do on Facebook. TikTok is sort of Christmassy and more behind the scenes production. Pinterest is more for weddings. It's a whole little lineup, and you'll get more into that when I assume you'll get into how you strategize your social media and your digital presence.
Okay, I will have another question, but I guess I would leave it for, okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay, how do you actually keep up with so many platforms? Because you seem to continuously keep up and all the time and not forget leave any one of
You
them.
don't know that. So let me stop your question again, because I think this is a very good learning, teaching moment here. You're asking me a question, and then again, you're answering your question. You're asking me, how do you keep up with all your social media? Because I realize that you keep up. No, but you don't know I'm busy. You don't know if that's all I'm doing. So how do I keep up? Okay, so a long time ago, I listened to Gary Vaynerchuk, and he goes by Gary V, and you'll need to check him out. And Gary V has a filtration system for his content on digital media. You create one piece of content, and then you break it down into smaller pieces. Each little piece goes to a different platform. So if I do a wedding, which is one piece of content, I tell myself, okay, that piece of wedding here might be for my YouTube. I'll process the whole thing. When I'm producing for YouTube, then I break it down. I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna show all the behind the scenes on Instagram. Then I'm gonna show maybe my craft session in TikTok. Then I'm gonna show this in that. It's not how you apply it for everything, but it really is how you have to look at things on a whole, and then you integrate things. So you share from one platform to the next, and you use the tools that are available. So on your Facebook, there's a Facebook calendar that allows you to automatically share to Instagram. So I cap like this, like I'm just like, yep, that's 2 platforms in one go. And then there's resharing that you do. And honestly, it's not all a one-man show. Sometimes I pull on a social media assistant, and I'm like, can you just create all my graphics for me this month, filter them into my calendar so they can automatically post, so I just don't have to deal with it, especially if I have like a big event or wedding. But it's a lot, I would lie. And I take breaks on social media a lot, so yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Next.
All right, thank you so much, Yakima, for that question. Great questions, by the way. Great questions. Vernon, you are up next.
I don't have questions. I just kind of have some observation.
Go ahead. There's something I forgot to say. Please introduce yourself and the name of your business. I'll keep repeating that, so that at least Teige knows who she's speaking to, right? Because you know all about her. So let's introduce yourself now.
Okay, my name is Vernon Vigé Reynoso. My company is Scarabs de Fleur de Lis, and it is actually a group of companies or businesses, excuse me, under an umbrella. And I will have to say, in the past classes that I've been doing, you may notice a couple of changes. I have kind of like several things that I'm working on, and I'm being forced to kind of separate, but I'll do that. What I did observe, and I will tell you, I just really love your enthusiasm. I understand you've been doing this for at least 10 years or so, and the way you speak about it, it's almost like, you know, when somebody walks across and they get their degree. And I will tell you, excuse me, to keep that focus, keep that energy, keep improving. Like you were saying, if you have something that's good and somebody likes it, one of the things I always say is a comparison is that you have some companies that they use herbs and spices, and then they get so big. Now they just take out the herbs and spices and put a lot of salt, or they use a certain type of butter. Now they've skimped on it and they've changed something else, but they just simply think that because their name's big, they're always going to be there. Examples like Sears, even Macy's, Zayres, big companies like that, Montgomery Wards in the States, that if you don't grow along and with your customers and you cut corners, you don't see what the movement is, you're going to lose. I just once again, I'm going to commend you on your enthusiasm, your knowledge of what you're doing. You using the media, using Facebook, these other things. Congratulations. Keep up the good work. As a St. Lucian, I will tell you, I'm extremely proud of you. Very proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I'm humbled and I'm honored by that, because I really do work hard, and it's been a hell of a journey, and COVID was difficult, very difficult for the creative industry. And we are not making money right now. We really are not, it's been very slow. We're looking forward to see what we can get from Christmas. It's been really slow, but what I learned in the process is that just keep moving, keep talking, keep engaging. And you see that energy that you see, it's a choice. I'm naturally energetic, but it really is like everything else, like love, like everything else, is really a choice you have to make. I have a lot of down. I mean, given what COVID did, I almost gave up on everything. I had a colleague come and actually, pull me together and say, yo, like, you like the best designer I know, you can't stop, so don't ever feel like, everything is honky-dory or bells and roses. It really isn't. It's really always a choice. You have to choose to show up. You have to give yourself these pep talks, these looking in the mirror things that we do for our relationships when they're tearing us apart, and we look in our mirror and we say, you can do this, like, you can still talk to him, don't give up. Yeah, you gotta do that for your business, and treat it like it's your baby, like it's your man. Treat it like it's something that you're building from the ground up, and cherish it, for sure. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Vernon. Thank you for those words of encouragement to our speaker. We will go next to Emanuela and then to Anita.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Okay. I loved your presentation. I love your energy and your enthusiasm. I'll see that. You kind of remind me of myself pre-COVID. Because I had that type of energy when I used to have to speak to my guests and, teach them different ideas for their weddings and different stuff like that when I used to work at the restaurant. I just have a question in regards to the different platforms. For me, because forgot to mention, I have two businesses. One is Lizzie's Cakery and Chocolates, and the other one is Sauced Up. For Lizzie's Cakery, I don't really present myself on there. Do you think that's something that I would need to do for me? Let's say maybe the people can get to know me a little bit better. Because normally when I post up, I just just post up what I make, whatever.
Can I pause you?
I don't really. Yeah.
Can I pause you? You answered your question. You said I don't really post myself on there, but do you think I should post myself on there so that people can get to know who is behind what it is I do? Because I only usually post what I do and not me. You don't need me in that conversation. Go ahead, have your conversation. You know what it is. You know the thing about women, we are so instinctive, but we don't stand in our power. You know it. You know people need to see who's the face behind this, not to see who you are, but to understand and feel the vibe and the energy that goes into what you produce. You know this. Like, you're telling me this is what I'm doing, and you're saying you're not doing it, and then you're telling yourself in the same sentence that you know you need to do it, because customers do need to understand who you are and what you're about and what your ethics are. People don't buy products, people buy experiences, and you know that. If you're in that industry, you know people buy experiences. If you give people a good customer service, they'll give you a good review about your product. Not good review as in it's great. They'll give you a good review, meaning that they'll value you enough to tell you, hey, you could have done this a little less sweet. Hey, you could have, I don't really like you. They'll value you enough to see you want to grow, to want to see you grow rather than pull you down. So you know people need to know who you are. Next part of your question. For the second business. I didn't get what your second business was.
Sauced Up. It is a seafood-based business, to say the least. I'm looking to expand it more, but then with COVID, I do have to say COVID did hit me pretty bad. My second business I started because of COVID, just because I have a strong culinary background. So I've always wanted to have my own restaurant. Even if I have worked in the restaurant industry off and on for about 10 years, because I did not have the amount of creative leeway that I wanted to, I find I did not grow as much. So hence the reason why I wanted to start off my own thing where I can, be the head person in charge of creativity, so I can, get my vision out and, people can actually taste different aspects of stuff. So I do see myself owning my own restaurant. I've always had that dream from a little girl. My father has a farm right in Super in Chateau Bel Air with a great view of Beaufort and St. Vincent. And I was just envision a restaurant right on there. So I think I'm still pushing for that, even if it might be ways away. And even with the exercise that we just did, Michelle, with the business plan and putting the building the dream, I kept thinking back on that and saying, well, Ella, why don't you start working on that, even if it would be something that would take a long time to get to, but at least you still have some steps in place already with the two businesses that you have already.
So, okay, you didn't ask a question, but let me jump in real quickly and give you some a little tips there. One is, when you're speaking about your dream or your goal or your idea, practice it in the mirror, practice it at home. One of the ways that as women, again, I'll tell you, I believe in, spirituality as well. One of the ways that women do actually see things come to life is the way that they speak to themselves and the way that they speak about the things that they love. You understand? So, just like you have a name and you're being called by your name, is the same way you have to call your dreams. So when you can get to fluently being able to describe what your goal and your dream, I want a restaurant that looks like this, that is here, that does this, etc., etc. Very simple, very clear, very concise, very confident, no no looking aways. That's what my dream and my goal is. That's where you need to get to. So I think you need to spend some time with yourself in the mirror, practicing every day. Make it part of your conversations. My friends are annoyed with me because every time you come align with me, I'm like, I say, like, no, I just want to do, and every time I'm saying it, but I'm saying it shorter and shorter because I'm practicing on my tribe, manifesting exactly what my dream is. So that's one thing. The second thing I wanted to tell you is get yourself a Pinterest board and start to put pictures of what your restaurant looks like in your Pinterest board, because it's not just speaking it out, but it's actually seeing it. Don't see it in your head, see it out there. You know what the location is, gather the photos, put them on a Pinterest board, go back to it, make that be your pastime. Instead of scrolling TikTok, go scroll Pinterest and be like, oh, this is what the furniture should look like. This is what the
TikTok.
Yeah, but okay, so go on TikTok and download videos that look just like it, or go on Instagram and screenshot it. You have to make, if you love it and you want it that bad and it's that far away from you, you have to make it come closer to you. And the way you make it come closer to you is that instead of spending time on things that are not relatable to anything that has to do with your dreams, your goals, your aspiration, or your vision for yourself as a woman, spend time in engrossing yourself in the things that matter. I say this all the time, input equals output. What you surround yourself with, who you surround yourself with, what you listen to, your music, your food, your drink, everything is what you will see a reflection of in your life. So make that your business. Bring these images into actual physical form. And just like I did a little collage on my thing, you can do a little collage, put it as your screensaver, put it in your phone, you understand? Scroll at it, look at it, print it out, put it on the wall, do that kind of thing. And there was one more thing that I forgot. But definitely these two things are like super important for you to focus on. But you didn't actually ask a question. You just told me that you have a restaurant dream, and all power to you for that. I hope it has a really amazing dessert menu, so you match the two skills together.
Yes, yes, it will. Because I always, my family, they're the guinea pig, and my friends, they're the guinea pigs. I'm always experimenting, always trying something new, always trying to, see what goes with this, something that somebody has never thought of. I'm always trying to do that. I think another thing in your presentation, I find I don't do for myself, is celebrate my joy. Like if I recreate a design for a client and they love it, and then they message me 3-4 times telling me how great it was, and how I don't take the time to celebrate that
Right.
at all. I don't know, I guess I'm always just on to the next, I guess. Always on to the next project. Or I do find that even if the client might say, they like it, it's good, I tend to have a trait where I'm always wanting to be a perfectionist. So I kind of beat myself up a lot, saying, okay, maybe I could have done this, or I could have done that, or, still try to find a flaw in it, I guess, sometimes.
Okay, so how do you celebrate? Let's say you sign up for a giveaway on a program that I have every Wednesday called Wedding Feature Wednesdays, and you get a chance to win a free entertainment for your next birthday party. How do you celebrate? How would you celebrate that win?
I guess I'd be happy in the moment, but then past that,
Okay, so that's your task here from me today, is you make a list of 5 ways that you can celebrate. Start small and let number 5 be your biggest way to celebrate. So if your biggest way to celebrate is reward yourself with a trip, work your way back up and tell Michelle or me or whatever. You have my contact information. Make a list of 5 ways you can celebrate and put that up as an action plan for yourself. And then you can now categorize when things happen in your life. You can say, this is a 3, this is a 2, this is a 5, this is a 1, and force yourself to stick to these ways or something similar to the range of whatever that celebration is. So for me, after this amazing presentation that I worked very hard on, I have some ice cream and a donut in the fridge waiting on me. It's a full moon tonight, and I'm just going to sit in my balcony, watch the moon, enjoy my ice cream and donut, and that's my celebration, because I'm pretty proud of my little presentation tonight. And I'm like, yay me, because I see this like a framework for a book that I might want to write one day that correlates the design process to the life process. I think that's a stellar thing. I want to celebrate that. So my level 1 of celebration is ice cream, donut, and full moon watching. My level 5 is much bigger than that, but you have to know what it is. And I used to be like you, where I just used to like, I would, after this, I'd be on to the next presentation, not anymore. And I really want you to learn from that, practice it, make a list of 3 or 5, and let that be your hierarchy for your celebration. I don't want to cut you off, but Anita has her hand up and we have to give it.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, thank you, Manuela. Anita, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, my name is Anita Volson, and my business idea is called Creative Expression. Creative Expression.
Can I stop you? Can I stop you, Anita? Okay, so 1, which is like, I came prepared in a dress and everything for you. I was like, so 1 is I would really love if you would sit up and like, let's have a conversation as to powerful people. For sure. Like that makes me know you're ready to talk to me now. Exactly. Don't worry about your background. You talking to me, I'm focused on you. Now I know you're ready to go. Let's go.
Let me start again. My name is Anita Volson, and my business idea is called Creative Expressions. Creative Expressions have to do where I create business cards, customized thank you stickers, labels, resume writing, and stuff like that. My question is, with all what I do, business cards, labels, thank you stickers, and stuff too, do you really have to create a content for these services that I provide? And another question is, what really are they calling content?
Okay, so content, last one first. Content is basically, put your mic on mute for me because you're echoing. Content is basically anything that you create to communicate what it is that you're doing. So whether that be you just posting online today is something good is working on our computers right now, that's content. That's you communicating everything that you're doing about your business with your client base. It might be text, it might be video, it might be photos, it might be voice note over a picture. It's even you reposting other people's things. So that's what content is. But to answer your first question about you doing a range of things, and do I have to create like marketing content for every single one of these things? You don't have to. It's really about you designing whatever style of marketing you want to do. Maybe what you can do, which is an adjustment that I made recently, is you find the one or two that you're very good at that are really the great sellers and you market that. And you leave the others a little bit quiet and refine them and build them up, and then they can piggyback on the customer base that comes with the others. So if business cards and logos are your main things, then market that hard. But you don't have to tell them about the envelopes and the letterheads and the whatever. It's just a service that you can have, that you tell them directly. So when you have that dialogue with your customer, you can say, as well as the business cards, we can offer you letterheads, we can offer you envelopes, we can offer you etc. But in terms of your marketing, sometimes when you're very small and you're very new, come out with two stellar strong things and put all your content and your heaviness and your concentration on that and push it in their face. Repetition and consistency is always better than everything. And I'll tell you why. An ice cream store sells ice cream. What SNS selling? Everything. You understand? What is SNS selling? Everything. Yeah, you might go to SNS, but SNS selling everything. If you are looking for ice cream, you know exactly where to go. I'm going to an ice cream store. You're not saying, well, let me check if SNS have that. No, you go into an ice cream store and you know when you go there for sure, they are really good at logos and they are really good at business cards. I know that's why I get that done there. Oh, wow, they're doing letterheads too. Oh my God, I didn't even know that. That's great. And you have the opportunity to engage your customer and upsell them after the fact. So put all your concentration into the two key things and throw that out there, and then just content about that, why that makes us great, what we do about that, how long it takes us, why we love what we do. All about that. You just finding different ways to say, we love color, these are our favorite colors, we love pattern, these are our favorite patterns, then we like doing when we do it in that side, then this is our kind for the, do that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anita, for your question. Do we have any other questions for Tej before we end for the evening? No further questions? Okay, well, I do definitely have a question.
I actually have a question.
Abigail,
Sorry.
Oh, Vanessa, okay, go ahead.
Hold on, let me make myself visible. I'm actually just fresh out of my shower. Good evening. Hello.
Yeah, it's
Hi.
been a while.
Yes, it's been a while. How are
Yes.
you? So yes, I have been listening all along because I came home late and But I must say, I mean, Tej, you are a ball of energy and fire. You fired me up. You reminded me of the time I had 9 business ideas and I wanted to do all 9. Michelle knows exactly what I'm talking about. And that is, but I just wanted to say, just fantastic presentation. I am now convinced you're designing my wedding.
See how I get a client there already? All right. Write that down. The date would be.
we gonna talk, but yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, you brought up a lot of great points. Well, to be formal, let me say, Vanessa Phillips, social media strategist, and you see the point that you brought up about, figure out what one of the 1 or 2 things that are really good sellers and focus on that. That is what I did, because I do a number of different things, but I saw the need for social media strategy. I saw how many people contacted me to help them with a social media strategy. And that is why over the past 2 to 3 years, I focus mainly on social media strategy and working with entrepreneurs to show them how they can leverage social media strategy. So you actually pulled 1 or 2 points from something that the ladies will be doing, will be starting on Thursday, which is good. So ladies, take note, please.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, I love your enthusiasm, and COVID really hit us creative people hard in truth and in fact. And what you said about it takes a choice, it takes you to choose. It really does take you to choose. So I just want to say thank you so much for your energy and your positivity and all of these things. And I think it's not I think, but I know that it has given me a certain energy now. And I have definitely taken note of what you said and how to streamline certain things, and for me to, you know, make my craft better. So I just want to say kudos to you. You know, awesome, love it. Thank you so much for that great presentation.
Thank you. I just want to extend what Vanessa just said, which is concerning the social media, apart from just identifying the 2 key things and like really focusing on them, I think we all have to do that. And the sooner the better you do that, is think about your personal brand, not just your business brand. Think about your personal brand. And through my presentation, I didn't want to come and just show you amazing designs and just be like, oh, like, so look at how I did this arch and then I did this cake. And, you know, I didn't want you to do that. I wanted to show you what it was to be. I looked at your flyer and I was like, you're talking about being a woman in business and I wish I had more time to say more. Being a woman in business is not always the easiest thing. You know, and especially in my field where it's male dominated and you're fellas from the brewery and, you know, construction workers and, you know, like it's not the easiest thing. So when I talk about how it is to be as a woman as well, how you present yourself as a feminine, strong, powerful, balanced, I can be dominant and I know what I want and I know what I want to see, but don't misunderstand. I'm still a lady and I'm still feminine and I'm still delicate. Having that balance and mastering that balance is really important. And that's what your personal brand is about. So there are times when I definitely feel like down and depressed and all that kind of stuff. And I show up like that on my personal profiles. I tell my personal, you're going to find it. Don't go and look for it. You're not going to find it. It don't have my name on it. I tell my personal Instagram family, you know, today's a hard day, it was a sad day, it was this, it was that, because I need to express that for me. I find, you know, when you're a business person, especially I'm a lone ranger kind of business person for a lot of things, I don't have many spaces to say, this is hard, I'm depressed, you know, I want to give up, I want to do this. So I find in my personal profile, in my close friends, in my personal profile, I say, this is hard, I feel away. And then on my main profile, I create a balance that has an energy, but a realism and an authenticity to what it is. So I'm like, you know what? I cried over there. Here's what, guys, the reality is that thing hard, but here's how I solve the problems. Yeah, so think about your personal brand and the kind of content that's on your page, because it's really going to link back at the end of the day, back to your business as well. So if tonight, scroll through, where you lie down tonight, it's after 9, you lie down, you say like, that was good, to take that in. Just scroll through your Facebook, delete a couple of things. You have things, trust me, because I just get the memories and I'll be like, who was I? You know, when the memories come up, you're like, in 2010, what the hell was I thinking, saying that? Go just scroll through and just remove a few things that doesn't align with your newfound vision of who you are. Just delete them. That's, if anything else to do tonight, do that. Because now after this, you gotta build a whole new version of yourself as a woman entrepreneur. That's it.
Thank you very much for that. We have a hand from Chantal Julian. Chantal, go ahead.
Yep.
Hi, good night, everyone.
Good night.
My name is Chantal Julian, and I actually have 2 business ideas. One is Shantae's Hair and Beauty, and the other is Shantae's Graphics and Design. I actually love your presentation. It was very informative. I mean, there are times that I feel kind of down or depressed trying to do certain things, and then just listening to you and seeing your enthusiasm and seeing that your zeal about what you do, you know, it really brings a lot and confidence. You know, I like think about it, and your energy is like, it's like you just deposited some energy to me and make me feel a little different about what I'm about to undergo. So I really love it, and I pray that you continue to do your best at what you're doing now.
Good. Do me one favor, Chantal. Watch your other screen. Yes. No, and I think that's really important. It's the same thing I said. Like when you when you presenting yourself as a woman, present yourself. I said what I said. You know, and I feel like this was good. And when you know this, I endorse this. Very good. So like I love when people are, you know, straight on the head, and I appreciate it. Okay. And I really I'm happy that you guys are getting some good energy and vibes, because it's really the core of a lot of what you do. Good energy and vibes can make you just like, you might not be doing anything right now, and good energy and vibes keep people around you. And if you can get that from me, pass that on. Make that your duty to pass it on to your customers. Make them feel that excitement for your brand and your business. You know, what are your new hairstyles? What are new colors we want to try? You know, yo, look at this cool bandana. Look at, like, you know, when you have that excitement for what it is that you do, you just start to come up with so many different concepts and ideas. And it's not to rush it or get overwhelmed, but it's just to maintain that spark. And again, I say, I like to do this. I create a formula for myself. So if I know, boy, when I go down and depressed, boy, I down for a few days, I understand and I have written down what are the things that make me happy again. So again, if it's my ice cream and my donuts, if that's my celebration, or if that's my pick-me-up, or if talking to my best friend is my pick-me-up, or if going to the beach is my pick-me-up, write down what it is, because in entrepreneurship, sometimes that is like a washing machine. Everything's time to spin on you. And you don't know, like, what socks, what's panties, I don't know. Oh. So sometimes you have to have that stop cycle that says, wait, stop, bring that back, go to the beach, refocus, and then start again. So understand that you have to write down some key things. How do I celebrate? Write down your 5 things. How do I get back to myself? Write down your 2 things, your 3 things, so that you and your tribe knows when they see Chantal feeling down, go and buy her some ice cream, come back, she will feel a little better, and we will get that at this again. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Chantal, for that. We will take one more question, and that's from Emanuela. Do you have a question?
Yes, I just wanted to go back on what Teige just said earlier on about the way you present yourself on social media. I wanted to ask the question because I'm with a modeling agency. Would that affect me, the way that people look at me as a businesswoman in respect to that? Because I know I would have a separate thing for that versus my business platforms.
Okay, so I'm gonna assume the most outrageous things right now, right? So I'm gonna say that you are a nude model with an agency right now. In my mind, I'm gonna tell you how you approach this. So you are nude, completely naked model with an online agencies and international agency, and you make loads of money doing that, because that's the only reason you should be doing nude modeling, is if you're making so much money that you have about 2 castles building, right? If you are that, then you bring a level, you own it, and you bring a level of sensuality and sexuality to your business model. So you better start creating some sexy cakes. And I don't mean nude people on cakes. I mean bringing the sexy vibe to your cake. So on your inside of your cake, you better be marbling the hell out of that and explaining that to me in the content, how that's such a sensual way to blend your colors and your tones, and how when I put the buttercream on the cake, it just melts in your mouth. Ooh, like, bring your sensuality. If that's what you are, and I'm assuming the most outrageous, so you apply to whatever.
Yeah, I get killed if I was a
But if you are a nude sensual model on one platform, don't try to hide or try to keep them so separate apart. I mean, have a division, because you as this is you as something else. Have that division. You don't have to be your business, and your business is not your personal brand, but there will always be a correlation, especially in the digital time when you can find everybody online. I would say separate your handles, keep it as this is that section, that is that section, but that correlation is bring that same, or you're talking about vibe and energy, bring the sensuality, bring the confidence, bring that model vibe. Models understands angles, understands shapes, styles. Bring me a hexagon cake, bring me an octagon cake, put it on a stand that's that's a transparent stand to represent nude. Like, get creative in that way with how you present. That brings a vibe and the energy of what you love. If it's modeling and being naked, then bring me some naked cakes, which are cakes with no buttercream. Don't think I don't know things. Cakes without any buttercream. Bring me some naked cakes and launch your naked cake line. So when somebody tell you, oh, you don't gonna have that business, is a naked model, you'll be like, yeah, but that's why she doing naked cakes. What you thought? So get creative with it in that way.
Awesome.
Okay, I could talk all night, guys. So let Michelle tell us both.
I can listen to you all night.
Mala, you have nothing to say. I just feel like Mala's been really listening and she's been on my screen the entire time. Anything from you, Mala, before we go?
As a matter of fact, I plan to have each and every person here, each and every lady on this call introduce themselves. So at least we know who is there. So if you think you got away, unless you skedaddle, this is your time. I'm going to put you on the spot. Each and every lady on this call is going to unmute themselves, say their name, and then the name of their business. So at least Teige knows who you are, because of course I share the information in the chat. I'm expecting you to connect with her, to do some work at some point. So this is what we're gonna do right now, okay? So just be ready to come on camera. So if you're not on camera now, get ready, okay? Because Teige is gonna call you out on that. She's done it a couple of times, she's gonna call you out. So let us begin. Tammy, you are up.
Okay, my name is Tammy Frederick, and my business idea is called Webmasters Design Studio. Actually, I'm a very creative person, and when I heard from Teige, I became more confident with my ideas. Also, I love your spirit, Teige.
Thank you.
And my biggest fear actually would be, what if I spend so much time and money into this thing and it doesn't work out? Like, how did you handle that part in your idea and your startup stage?
That wasn't a thought.
Pardon me?
It wasn't a thought, because it has to work out. It will work out.
That's true, but sometimes.
Yeah, that's the whole answer. What are you talking about? Like, what not work out? Are there other graphic designers?
No, sometimes you might think yours is not the best. Somebody else might be looking better than yours. Then you get less.
What? You not what? Somebody who's other? I don't know what you're talking about, girl. Girl, you are the best at what you do. You have your unique points of how you do what you do, and you bring your personality, your vibe, your energy to it, right? There are 10 other designers in St. Lucia. They get more work than me consistently all the time. It doesn't stop me from doing what I have to do. I haven't had 5 weddings for the year yet. Okay?
So when it gets tough, I just thinking of like when
it's tough as hell. And guess what I do? I realize I can't produce. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna teach what I know. I can't produce, I'm gonna teach what I know. So I woke up and I said, every Wednesday, I'm gonna let people know that I'm still the thing in the industry. Regardless of I have no work to do, I'm here. Watch me, see me.
Well, I have to start that. I like that.
Yes, it's confidence. If you don't believe in you, nobody else is gonna believe in you. If you keep thinking about the other person, you're just allowing them to win. Think about you, focus on you. And I always say this, live in a bubble. Have your information from the outside, but when you come back to your bubble, like your lab, like Dexter's laboratory, you focus on only watch your paper. Don't watch the next person's paper. Keep your eyes on your paper and you keep pushing and going. Don't worry about other people. You're good to go.
You know, be like, because I like to watch other, I'm like, wow, that girl is doing that really nice. I like to support other
No,
people.
ma'am.
If I see you doing it better.
No, ma'am, you watch them for inspiration, how you could do what they're doing better in your style, in your way, but you're not looking at what anybody else is doing. That's a mindset thing. And one of my slides had that. That's a mindset thing. You had to change your mindset and watch other people to see for inspiration, how you can twist it and turn it to reflect more of you. You're not watching other people to see anybody better than you. You bring something different to the table than anybody else. Two of us can have a coin. The way you use your coin and the way I use my coin is two different things. Okay. So have confidence in you, know who you are, know what you want to do, have your vision in place, and use other people's work as inspiration, not for comparison. Yeah?
Oh, yes, true.
Awesome.
Yes.
Next one.
Right, excellent. Thank you very much, Tammy. Let us go to Brittany. You're up.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Brittany Charles, and my business name is Essential Mart. I particularly love the session tonight, and I think that Teige, you can be a great motivational speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I've learned so much tonight.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to know that I added value. And I will be looking into the motivational speaking. Thank you.
I was just about to say that, Tej, you need to connect with me so I can help you get started with that one.
Yes,
that's
please,
something else to add to your portfolio. All right, next person we have is Mala. You're up.
Finally, yeah.
Good night. My name is Mala. My business name is Mala's Delight, but I don't really have control that name. I recently changed it to Royal's Cake. Yeah, so the reason why I had nothing to say because I was so interested in what you were saying. I was just taking everything in and just concentrating because that's the kind of person I am. Everything that good, I like to just stay there and just put everything inside and just picture myself in that position.
Right.
So whilst you was there talking and on saying your presentation, I was thinking about myself, like I said, and dreamland. I think about your vision at the same time. So that's what I was there doing. So that was listening attentively. That's what
Can
I
I
was
ask you
doing.
something quickly, Mala? What makes your cake different from me going to Sweet Dreams or Cakes, etc., or any other cake brand? What makes your cake different?
Well, what makes my cake different is that I'm doing different flavors of cake, especially the one I started with, like, I don't really hear nobody like doing peanut butter cakes.
Nice.
I just make peanut butter cakes. I just make chocolato cakes.
Nice.
Yeah, and like anything that I believe like anything like we making tea with or we eating or something like that, we can make cake out of it. So I just want to do like what nobody else do. I just have it ideas just coming in my head and I just trying it and I just give it to my kids to test it or breed it. I'll make them go and sell it out there so I can hear from the people in the community.
Very
what
good.
they think
Market that
about
peanut
it.
butter cake. Make sure you market that peanut butter cake. All right.
Yes,
Awesome. Really good.
All
Next
right.
person.
Awesome. Let's go to Stefia.
Okay. Hi. Good evening, everyone. Tish, I've been knocked out of the water here right now. I've been really enthusiastic about the presentation. I think my main takeaway, my business idea is the greenery. Basically hydroponic vegetable production. Hydroponics is not very popular in St. Lucia's yet. We know agriculture is big here, but the main reason for hydroponics is water conservation, sustainable agriculture, hence the idea. One thing that I really took away from your presentation is no matter how many competitors we have out there, we will find a way to stand out. As long as we want to get it done, there will be something we could latch onto and make it happen. So this really stood out to me because I've heard it before. Yes, there are a lot of people in agriculture, but what would make me stand out? I will not give up on it and I will continue. It will happen because I know we all must eat. And so it's going to happen. Yes, thank you.
And my advice to you as well is you don't just look at the local market, expand yourself to other regions, because sometimes what the value that you bring to the table there may be too many competitors locally, but in Dominica, you might not have any competition there. So don't forget to do your regional market research as well, not just your local one.
I'm glad you said that because I worked in tourism for about 10, almost 15 years, and the cruise lines, I know for a fact that they are looking to source supplies from the Caribbean. And the only reason they've not decided upon sticking with any Caribbean island is because we cannot prove to them that we're consistent in quality, in quantity. So I intend to work on that. These are my focus areas. So thank you so much for tapping in on this one for me as well.
No problem.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Let's go to Clyel.
Hi, Tej. My name is Kyle Flavius, and my business idea is called Glococo St. Lucia. It is just the sustainable use of all the elements of the coconut. We make coconut oil, coconut body creams, coconut body scrub, body wash, and aromatherapy. And I was really touched and inspired by your presentation. And I pray it rubs off on me just so that I can be more confident and more enthusiastic as you are, and just continue the good work. And thank you for presenting to our group.
Thank you very much. So I'll tell you one thing off of the bat. If you're doing any marketing, even though you have not established the business or started it yet, if you're doing any marketing, approach it from an education point of view, because a lot of people don't even understand yet how you can use the husk to make the fibers on the outside, to make fabric, to make wood. They don't even know that yet. So they don't even know. Sorry, I was reading the comments. They don't even know that yet. So really, like, if you do anything in your social media marketing, do a lot of education so people can be like, oh yeah, really, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know you could use this and use that, you know? So definitely approach it from that point of view. Not just product sales, but education drives as well.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Clyde. Let's go to Abigail Charlie.
All right, so this is Abigail Charlie. The name of my business is Snack and Go, where we cater for fast food and local meals and other healthy foods. That was a really, really, really informative and energetic presentation you gave there, Tej. I'm not sure if I mentioned it correctly, your name. I really love your energy. You heard that so much, but I was blown away. Took a lot from your presentation. You mentioned a few things like the challenges that are faced and rejection, the criticism and feedback. That was a very, very useful topic. Because when I think of entrepreneurial movement, a lot of the entrepreneurs, they don't really take that part of business too well. Most people, when they face criticism, they actually tend to fall back or go into a shell. And it's always good to try and use that criticism to help elevate yourself in a sense. So I really love your presentation.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Abigail Charlie. Okay, let's go to Angel Ernest.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Angel Ernest, and the name of my business is Caketastic, or Caketastic Bites on Instagram. The nature of my business is basically doing customized cakes for birthdays, anniversaries, and also pastries.
Nice. What's your signature flavor? Best one, the one that's ordering all the time and you love it and you love to make it.
Vanilla and chocolate.
Vanilla and chocolate. Give me something different. Everybody has vanilla and chocolate. Signature, meaning it's something that you do a different way than everybody else.
Well, that's the two that's been ordering the most from
Okay.
customers.
So it means you need to launch your signature flavor. And just like when I do a wedding, I launch a signature drink a lot of the time during the cocktail hour, which is you can have any drink at the bar, but I create a drink that represents the bride and the groom. So you have a purple haze or, you know, a blackberry sunshine or something like that. Create something that has the personality, the vibes, and the energy of the brand and the group in a drink. Similarly, when you're creating a business or brand, when I talk about what's your unique element that you bring to it, that means that you don't have to worry about anybody else, Tammy, because you know what you bring to the table is the same way with your cakes. Everybody has chocolate, everybody has vanilla. Create your signature cake-tastic flavor that you know you worked hard on that. That's your special flavor. It might have club soda in it that making it bubble in your mouth when you drink it. I don't know. I don't cook. But at the end of the day, it's your signature thing that defines you away from anybody else. So think about that.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you very much. And last but not least, we'll go to Siobhan Anatole.
I don't think she has sound.
Oh, she probably can't hear me. Okay, Siobhan, can you please type into the chat, of course, the name of your business and your key takeaway from tonight's presentation. Okay, so of course we have come to the end of our ELS for tonight. Thank you so very much, ladies, for coming, for being here. And we do have someone who wants to say thank you on behalf of the entire class. And I'm going to call upon her right now. Please take the stage.
Good evening, ladies.
Hi, Yakima.
On behalf of the Academy of Women Entrepreneurs, the St. Lucia installment, second installment, Ms. Samuel and myself, we would like to sincerely thank you for such an energetic, poetic, simple yet intrinsic presentation. And it really left us thinking about how we can bring ourselves to the value that we want to bring to the market. It's you actually used what you know, which is designing and being creative, to teach us the lesson tonight. And that to me was very artistic, very poetic. I loved the design that you used, the PowerPoint presentation setting that you used. It made me feel more relaxed about what I was learning, not anxious, and it was very succinct. So it brought a huge mountain into a rock. So it brought a lot of information and we understood it immediately. And you got us thinking, you got us excited. You brought out our femininity in a lot of ways. So you made the women are exciting creatures and you made us excited. We were laughing, we were talking. I mean, like, this is the class that you should post on Canva so that we can have reruns. This was awesome, and I can continue to say how awesome it was, but I know that it would prolong everything. But thank you so much. You are a light in your industry and a light to us. You were you have a very creative spirit. It's inside of you, and thank you for evading. Thank you for letting it out. Thank you for infecting us with it. I mean, one thing that we can take back into our own business ideas is to be creative. And we like that you actually embrace your beginning and you kept on speaking about it throughout your presentation. And it's like you kept on reiterating that the constant is step one. Okay, so step one, we do this, we outline the concept, not forgetting who you really are. Is your business, even though it's a business, it's still connected to you, but you have to examine yourself first. Right. So if you always go back to step one, after you review, after you adjust, it's like you go back to step one, no matter what. And step one, going back to step one equals growth. So thank you so much for that. And I was also thinking that you should be a motivational speaker as well. I'll definitely go to watch your Wednesday classes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And you were so natural, very natural, and nothing beats natural. It was just so much truth in what you were saying, and thank you so much.
I appreciate that, Yakime. Wow, I've never seen a vote of thanks really good. So you have to come with me to all my motivational speeches when we develop that platform. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. I love that you found the spirit and the vibe and the energy in there. Just for me to end, I just wanted to give you a quick little story. So about your teacher, right? So when Michelle started, I remember meeting her at Baywalk Mall, and through a mutual friend asking me to just help out with a setup or design of whatever project she was doing. And I'm always one for, sure, I like to help my friends because I always feel like you're gonna need some help someday. And I remember sitting in the room during her events and watching her and saying, you know, like, she have an idea of what she's doing there and she just going for it. Whether or not we applaud or not, she keeping going. She gonna keep going. Whether or not we love or see it or understand it or whatever, she's gonna keep going. And a lot of times in the beginning of your business or whatever dream or goal you have, you might not find like you're hearing a big applause. But there are about 3 or 4 in the back of the room going on, and there are about 10 others that are very silent, but they're right there supporting you. So for me, it's probably Michelle, 6-7 years later, she approaching me and saying, hey, you wanna like, you know, give a presentation to my class? And I'm like, sure, okay. Just the same, I actually did reflect on the first time you started and me saying to myself, yeah, she's going someplace and she's doing something. And I've seen her grow and flourish. So as much as I've seen that in her, I'm hoping to see it in everybody. And I hope you can take value, not just from the speakers who come on board, but from exactly what Michelle is doing, because she just went in headstrong and she kept going. And I absolutely love that. And I was inspired by that. So you have some strong women on your session here, on your panel, but as leaders in your program. And I wish you all the best. And I don't think this will be the last of me. I think I might pop in another time. I make it my business to ask what's going on. And, you know, you might see me again so I can bring some more vibes and energy. And I believe in being authentic. So if you bring in anything to your business, you know, the one thing you can bring that will never fail is exactly who you are. So anytime you stop pretending, that's exactly where the business needs to be. Right there when you stop pretending. Yeah.
I appreciate those words, Tej. I really do. I know it is extremely late, and I do apologize for taking up additional time from what was allotted.
It's still there.
I do apologize for that. But again, I want to second Yakima by saying again, thank you for being here. And yes, you did actually speak it into existence. It was already, manifesting behind the scenes, but you will be joining us for other sessions. You'll be receiving your follow-up emails, so you'll be seeing it. And yes, you'll be seeing more of Tej ladies. So Tej, we're going to say good evening to you. I have some final words for these ladies for their next class. Again, thank you so much. And we're going to end the recording here.